Fall is the season to get set for winter at Ski Haus. The number one reason families are coming in right now? Junior leases for kids 16 and under. Skip the stress of buying new gear every year. Ski Haus makes it easy and affordable to outfit your kids with skis, boots, and boards, sized just right for the season. While you're there, it's also the perfect time to book a custom boot fitting because comfort on the slopes starts with your boots. And don't forget a DIN safety check to be sure your bindings are dialed in for a safe, fun season ahead. Get your gear, your fit, and your peace of mind all before the snow flies. Visit Ski Haus this fall and make winter easy. They've got locations in Salem, Woburn, and Framingham. And you can head to skihaus.com, that's SKIHAUS.com, to check store hours and directions.
Welcome back to the Ski Moms podcast. It's season 5 and we're hitting the slopes. We're sharing real, unfiltered stories of motherhood on the snow. From conquering the bunny hill with toddlers to squeezing in your own powder days, this season celebrates every type of ski mom. Thanks for joining us. We've got a great season lined up, and be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. The Ski Moms are thrilled to be bringing you an interview with Kathleen Dola. She is a ski mom and the founder of Points North Sports and Regenerative PT. This is a private outpatient physical therapy clinic, and they specialize in treating orthopedic and sports medicine injuries. We know a lot of those happen with skiing, so we're going to dive in there. She's based in Stowe, Vermont, and just is bringing a wealth of knowledge to keeping us healthy and getting us healthy again if something unfortunate happens. So welcome, Kathleen.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nicole and Sarah, for having me. Thank you for that amazing intro.
It looks like from looking at your bio and some of the information online about you that you've always been an athlete. Did you start skiing at a young age?
That's an interesting story. I am originally from New Haven, Connecticut, which is pretty urban. And in 7th grade, my middle school decided to start a ski club. And this was a gang of kids who had never skied before. And we would go to the local Mount Southington, and people would wear jeans. I think the cool art teacher who would chaperone it would wear a cowboy hat and jeans. And she was like, I always wear pantyhose under my jeans to stay warm. And so we basically learned how to snowplow before they unleashed us on the mountain. And the mountain had the incline of probably the beginner terrain at Spruce Peak and Stowe. Maybe not even that much. But then they took us on a ski trip to Stowe, and that was a whole different thing. They signed us up for a 1-hour lesson and basically learning how to sidestep and how to snowplow. And on my first trip down the mountain, I couldn't stop, and I crashed right into the Spruce Peak base lodge, like right into the wall, and 100 people inside saw me. So that was the end of my skiing for that particular expedition. And I think there was one other time in college when my boyfriend, who's now my husband, took me skiing, and it was a disaster. And I was like, I'll just go keep the bartender company and you go skiing. So then when my oldest daughter was 1, my husband dragged us on a ski trip up to Bromley Mountain in southern Vermont. And he was like, this time you are learning how to ski. I was like, no, I'll do Nordic, which from Connecticut, I knew how to do a little Nordic, which Nordic in Connecticut is basically like there's a blizzard and everyone straps on their skis and skis off to Starbucks. So that was the extent of my Nordic. And he was like, nope, you're definitely doing this. So I went, I think I was crying going to the mountain, found the ski instructor. His name was Ken. He had like reflector sunglasses on. He looked like the total ski instructor. I was like, oh, this is not going to go well. And he was amazing. He taught me how to get on and off the lift. He had me skiing the blue trails in under an hour. In fact, we were on black diamond trails by the end of the lesson. And he gave me a big hug. He was like, you're all set. And I was like, wow, this is really fun. Like skiing is actually an enjoyable activity. And then 6 years later, we moved to Stowe. And that's what there is to do here. So I got good at it. And I, not ski racer kid good, not, lifetime skier good, but enough to not kill myself and ski any terrain. And yeah, it's become just a joy in the winter and the spring.
Well, I just have to say hats off to the art teacher that, brought all of you to Vermont with her pantyhose. And I love a good story like that. I did the same at sundown. not far
Really?
from Southington. Yeah, and Nicole and
Yes,
I
I've been on
started in
Sundance.
Southington at night, and also to Ken, he sounds amazing. I have a perfect vision of him with, like, Barney sunglasses, and he
Exactly.
was so
No
cool, I'm
helmet. This
sure.
was, yeah, before helmets were a thing.
We understand how you got to Stowe, started skiing a lot more, but tell us also about your professional journey and how this is all matching
Absolutely.
up very nicely, it seems like.
Yeah, it's worked out well. I've been a PT for 26 years, and it's been primarily in outpatient orthopedics and sports medicine. I did do a brief stint in home care PT when my kids were little. So basically, I graduated from the Medical College of Virginia, which is now absorbed by Virginia Commonwealth University in Richmond, Virginia. And I went straight from there into this crazy sports medicine clinic in Southern Virginia where I'd be matched up with an athletic trainer and treated a minimum of 8 patients an hour. So it was basically exercise, like, look at the patient's exercise program and upgrade that, do a little manual therapy, pass them to the athletic trainer who would do modalities like ultrasound, electric stim, take them through their exercises, next person. I did that for a couple of years. Then we relocated back to Connecticut. And I found working in outpatient to be completely incompatible with having young children. It was like every time one of them was sick or there was a snow day or the daycare would close, I would be scheduled to go into work and I'd have to call in. I was like, well, if there was ever a time that I would be fired from my job, this would be it. So I tried home care for a couple of years, which was badass. I loved it. You never knew what you were going to get. It really fine-tuned my knowledge of medicine. And then my husband got this job transfer, and I started the whole thing all over again of trying to find a job that would work out with the kids. And it went very badly. So I finally realized that either I had to find a new profession or I needed to start my own clinic. And fortunately, we have this lovely basement space with a walkout entry and exit, and that became my PT clinic. So I started that in 2011, and it's worked out great. I've been able to schedule around my children's schedules, and I've been able to practice the way I want without a boss barking down my neck. In fact, I worry that in the future, I would like to try, I'd like to branch out, maybe try some travel PT, but I'm not sure how I'll do with a boss, you know? That's my big worry right now.
Trust me, I am completely unemployable at this point after having worked for myself for so long. It's a blessing and a curse. But I think you could reinvent yourself if you do want to travel.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do want to go over your degrees a little bit because I do think it's really helpful for us as we're trying to find physical therapists to help us out. What are we looking for? I see that you have a PT, physical therapy, so I don't even know what it takes to get those initials, and then a DBT. I think those are the other.
DPT, Doctor of Physical Therapy.
Okay.
When you're looking for a physical therapist, I don't think you need to pay too much attention to the letters or the degree. 30 years ago, the terminal degree of the profession was BSPT, or Bachelor's of Science in Physical Therapy. And then it was upgraded to a Master's in Physical Therapy, either Master of Science, either MSPT or MPT. The terminal degree of the profession now is a DPT, which is Doctorate of Physical Therapy, and it just reflects a little more school and a little more focus on courses that were not previously offered in the curriculum. Like there's nutrition, and there also is more of a push towards just independence in the profession, not having to. Most states have direct access now, which means that patients can go directly to a physical therapist. In some states, they're limited to a certain number of visits. Like I think in Maine, you can see a physical therapist 5 times before you have to go see a doctor. In Vermont, there's a lot more autonomy. This has been a great experience for me in that it's really sharpened my clinical skills to look out for any red flags that need to be screened by a doctor that require imaging. And I'm board certified in orthopedics, and I've been working in sports medicine for years. But this has also forced me to become kind of a generalist in Vermont. What a lot of people may not realize is that there is a serious deficit in healthcare in Vermont. And I mean, I think it's been everywhere since COVID. But we have pockets of really good healthcare. We're fortunate in the Stowe area to have that. And then there are pockets of very limited or absolutely no healthcare. Like I've had patients who drive 90 minutes or farther to come see me. I've had to become more of a generalist and a primary care specialist. And I'm very fortunate to have a great relationship with the doctors in the area. If we think we need imaging, I just call them up and send them over.
You are completely right. Our clinic in Warren just closed down, and
I heard about that.
And they're sending patients to the Berlin hospitals. But of course, Berlin is everyone's full. If they're a diabetes patient or a high blood pressure. So they're either driving an hour now to Burlington, which is, if you've got to go every week and you've got a full-time job, or you've got to go even monthly, it's just, we are definitely in a healthcare desert. We definitely wanted to talk to a physical therapist because we see in our community hub so many injuries that pop up, and women don't know the next step from the injury. Walk us through the types of things that we would be coming to you for.
I would say any injury or illness or condition that is preventing you from living your fullest life. One does not need to go to PT 3 times a week for 4 to 6 weeks. In fact, most of the people I see in here, I would say 95% of the people I see come in once a week or less, unless they've had a surgery or an acute injury that really needs more visits. And it could be, it could be an orthopedic injury, like an acute orthopedic injury. It could be a chronic injury that's been nagging at you for a while and you ignored, and then it just gradually worsened to the point where you can't ignore it anymore. It could be that you had an illness and you just never quite bounced back and you just don't feel like yourself. You don't feel as strong as you used to be. So any physical condition that's preventing you from doing what you love to do and feeling like your best self would be worthy of taking to a physical therapist.
And when you say sometimes you're seeing people once a week, every other week, maybe, would I be leaving with a regimen of things to be doing on my own? And then we're just checking my progress. Can you walk us through what the experience is like? I don't know what a typical issue would be if someone were to come in. I don't know, maybe their knee is bothering them. It just feels a little tweaked. What would that experience look like?
This fall, make Ulster County your weekend escape. Just 90 minutes from New York City, Ulster bursts into colors with fiery reds, glowing oranges, and golden yellows. Perfect for family adventures or kid-free getaways. Circle crystal clear lakes at Minnewaska or wander the carriage roads of Mohonk Preserve. Whether you're riding with little ones, packing a picnic, or chasing quiet moments on the trail, every turn brings a new view. And when the sun sets, Ulster transforms. Don't miss the legendary Headless Horseman hayrides and haunted attractions in Ulster Park. And after your ride, explore festivals, farm-to-table dining, cozy inns, and the Hudson Valley's best craft beverages. This season, don't just see fall, experience it. Plan your Ulster County adventure at visitulstercountyny.com.
So sometimes a knee injury is just a knee injury. And if it's been persisting for a long time and on and off and it goes away and comes back, there's usually more to it. And I think that in today's very rushed healthcare world, that component, that knee being part of a chain, is often overlooked. And so in that situation, I do a full hour treatment session with all of my clients, unless they don't need it for that long. But we would look at everything. We would look at the knee, the ankle, the hip, the pelvis, low back. It's very important for clients to give an accurate and thorough medical history because people have a tendency to decide what's important and what's not important. And for example, with, say, neck pain, someone will say, oh, my neck has just been chronic. It just hurts, whatever. I think it's takes. I'm on the computer or my posture. And then 6 weeks in, they'll be like, hey, did I tell you that I was in a motor vehicle accident? I was in a coma for 3 weeks. I'm like, what? How could you not share that information? That is huge when we're treating the neck. So we would look at everything possible and in light of the medical history and the symptoms to try and figure out exactly what's going on. And from that point, we would see we can actually work on mechanics during the treatment session. using a bunch of different manual therapy methods. We can use different tools like laser or blading, and then, self-care at home and exercise programs, stretching, strengthening, getting out for regular exercise, doing a little soft tissue mobilization, like on a foam roll, or self-blading with a kitchen tool. All of those things can help. And it can also free up your time so you don't have to go to PT 3 times a week for 6 weeks.
Unfortunately, I was watching too much Instagram, and I suffered the we need to lift heavier weights crisis. So, went to the gym. I had upcoming ski trips. So I was like, I gotta add some weight on because
terrific.
I need to get strong.
Wonderful.
I think almost on the first rep, I could feel something in my back, and I was like, oh no. And it was the first time I've seen a physical therapist in my life because I knew I had the countdown to Chile coming up to ski. And I was not messing around. I wasn't messing around with like arnica. My usual tricks are like arnica, steam room, a little yoga fixes everything. And I have to say, it was absolutely life-changing. I found out my copay is $25 a month. I have 90 sessions a year.
Wow, that is great.
I know. I didn't need to see a doctor. And I was like, I have been leaving money on the table by not fixing these little niggling injuries that I've had over the years. And it was, I don't want to discount her skill, but it was really like she unlocked all the things that were wrong and then gave me all these things that I needed to do to fix it. So I do want to say that this is really a relationship, between you and your PT. It's like going to therapy, like you need to fill them in on what's going on, or going to your doctor, you need to take the medicine they're giving you. So tell us, this is your audience, this is your chance. How important is that we do our homework that you give us?
It is absolutely 100% the most important component of physical therapy. If you're not going to do it, there's absolutely no point in going to PT. And Stow's a small town. Most people are pretty good about follow through here too. It's an athletic town, people get the whole self-care piece. But I've heard in the past feedback, it's so funny just living in a small town. But I'll walk into the coffee house and someone will say to me, "Oh, I heard you were seeing Rebecca, and it's too bad you couldn't help her." And so what I can't say, because it's HIPAA privacy protected information, is that Rebecca did not do her exercises. And so I've come up with just a standard response, which is, well, unfortunately, HIPAA privacy practices prevent me from telling my side of the story.
Yeah, it is. Again, I would equate it to if a doctor gives you the full regimen of penicillin and you decide like your fever has broken, so you're not going to take the back half of it, and then something pops up again.
Exactly.
And you go back to the doctor and you're like, did you take the full course? You're like, well, I was feeling better. So yeah, I mean, I think I'm forever going to keep these exercises now in my toolkit moving forward because they definitely helped in so many ways. Now, that was a specific injury from the weight room. What are some of the things that you're seeing, because you do live in an active town? What are some of the things that you do see that you can help? So the woman listening right now is saying like, oh, I've constantly have this thing in my hip or my knee, but, I'll just rest. It'll be fine. I don't have time to go to PT.
So I would recommend to that person that they go see a PT for one session. You don't have to commit to months of it, and just see what they have to say. I think the tendency is to go to your doctor, which is perfect. If you're concerned about something, go to the doctor. What can happen is that we can get caught kind of down the diagnostics hole and get an x-ray of that knee, and anyone over age 20 to 25 will start to show some degenerative changes in their knee. And so frequently what happens is that then they'll get x-rays, possibly an MRI, and they'll be told, well, you've got arthritis, you can't ski anymore, you can't run anymore. And this is happening to people in their 30s and 40s. So I have people coming in crying, and I'm like, let's take a look at the MRI report. And the MRI report can be anxiety producing to anyone because they comment on every single thing in every compartment or every level of the spine. And that's their job. They do a great job. But there's a big difference between normal age-related degenerative changes and full-blown arthritis. And that's where PT can be helpful too. And just helping discern what's relevant and what isn't. And what we know is that radiology is very useful, but the findings on an X-ray or MRI are not necessarily the source of the pain. And that's also where PT can be useful. They can help you work around whatever was shown on that MRI.
So you're giving us another opportunity to do the things that another outlet to do the things that we love with support and guidance.
Exactly. And I think that it's important to accept that we are not perfect beings. Everybody's got something going on, particularly past a certain age. Actually, so many kids play so many sports. Like the injuries are coming in younger and younger kids. I remember I had a 5-year-old who strained an Achilles, and the father was there breathing down my neck saying, well, when can she get back to soccer? I'm like, really? How important is this? It's like kindergarten soccer, So I think it's about learning to live a full life with imperfection and don't expect to be perfect necessarily. Everybody's managing something. And so managing expectations as well as equipping the patient or the client with tools to help themselves and know that they've got a relationship with a physical therapist who's always happy to help them.
So you're seeing many more like teen athletes who have injuries or preteen athletes with injuries?
Yes. I see a lot of the high schoolers. I was actually working on an ACL prevention program for the female athletes last spring. We had, Stowe is a super small high school, and I think the junior class has 40 kids total, maybe 45. And 3 of them tore ACLs, 2 in soccer, 1 in lacrosse. And that is just way too high a percentage. So I was up there working with them on an ACL prevention program, which it's just a series of exercises. It's research supported. There are a bunch of different ACL prevention protocols, but I researched one that was specific for female athletes and specific for soccer players. And it's a series of exercises that you perform 3 times a week in conjunction with a weightlifting program. And it really is all about the strength.
Ski season starts early in Boston at Snowbound Expo 2025, November 14th to 16th at the Menino Convention and Exhibition Center. It's the ultimate gathering for skiers and riders. Shop gear and apparel with discounts up to 70% off. Meet top resorts and brands. And hear inspiring stories from athletes like Zeb Powell, Amy Engerbretson, and Donnie Pelletier. Bring the whole family for hands-on fun, from trampoline shows to ski lessons for kids, or come with friends and dive into New England's biggest winter kickoff party. We've got discounted tickets. You can get $10 tickets for the weekend at snowboundexpo.com/tickets with code MOMTRENDS10. Snowbound Expo Boston. Kickstart your season here.
So would we also come to you to work on a preventative program? I might be feeling pretty good, but I want to keep feeling good. And we get some exercises and a regimen so that I continue on that path? Or do people have to have an ailment to come in?
Absolutely can come in for prevention. And I get this a lot. I get people come in who say, I'm in my early 50s. I love to mountain bike. I love to ski. I feel achy a lot. I don't want to get injured. My goal is to just keep enjoying the activities that I love. What should I be doing? And we set them up with a program, and they may come back in a few months and you fine tune it. So that happens quite a bit.
You can really take the role of being that sort of personal trainer as well, of saying like, okay, we need to do this part in your workouts to make sure that you are not saddled with pain or injury.
Exactly. And I actually am a personal trainer. I'm USA weightlifting registered as a coach. And this is a program that I started a little over a year ago. My program, I have a weightlifting program for women that's called Warrior Women Weightlifting. And I teach weightlifting classes for different levels of of women, beginners, intermediate. No one around here, I would say, would count as truly advanced, but I have classes for different levels. I do personal training. I do semi-privates. And you mentioned the weightlifting and that you fell prey to Instagram. And it really is important. So I'm pleased that you were in the gym and working at it.
Left to my own devices, I will just do cardio every day, all day. But I do know you hit a certain age. And even, the activities that I do love to do. I love to run. I love to ski. I'm a budding golfer. And you need to be strong for all of these things in just life. So I know I need to do the weights. It sounds like I need to visit you. But warrior woman sounds a little scary. I'm more of like not definitely a warrior, more like, let's be friends weightlifter.
It's so not scary. The classes are hilarious. You'd be amazed at what goes on in here.
Are they in person?
They are in person.
Okay,
Yes.
We should try it, Nicole.
What are some of the things that we should be doing? So, right now we're talking to you in a little bit of the preseason. What are some of the things we should be doing now and then versus in season when we have a little bit less time?
So the most important thing to be doing right now would be strengthening your knees and hips and also working on flexibility. So in a standard ski boot, you need approximately 17 to 20 degrees of ankle flexion. Most people have about 10 to 15 on average in a healthy ankle. If you've had multiple ankle sprains, you may have less. And if you're a ski racer in a really aggressive boot designed for ski racing, you need more like 19 to 23 degrees of ankle flexion. So it's very important to stretch not only your calves, but your hamstrings, your glutes, your low back, and even your neck. That whole posterior chain is connected, and a little tension in one area can actually affect your ankle flexion. And why this is relevant is because if you don't have that good ankle flexibility for a ski boot, your body is going to figure out how to find it elsewhere. So you will end up bending your knees more, leaning back more, which puts more stress on your knees. But even more importantly, is a classic way that people will tear an ACL. And, sometimes it can come just from a chaotic fall and your ski gets caught in the snow and you twist your body around your knee. But one classic mode of ACL injury is you're skiing down the mountain, you're leaning back too far, you fall backwards, your knee and the ski keep going down the mountain. So that's why it's important to have that flexibility and also just the hip and knee strength to hold the posture.
Yeah, we had a friend who she didn't even fall. She was just skiing and tore her ACL, probably because she didn't have, it could be anything, the strength, the flexibility, the mobility, right?
Right.
And it doesn't have to be a catastrophic crash.
Exactly.
For us to tear or really hurt ourselves even. Like she didn't even fall.
Poor thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we've seen that definitely. And that's definitely something that we've been spending time on, strength and prevention so that we can keep skiing and we don't get hurt. But I had a question, what's the kind of trajectory? Say someone does have their knee is bothering them. We're working with you. We're doing our exercises. How long do we give it before we say, maybe there is something more serious and maybe I do need a procedure or something? What is that lifespan look like before we go to something that extreme?
If someone isn't feeling better, not perfect, but significantly better within 3 visits, I send them for a consultation. I don't like to waste people's time. So I would think 3 to 4 weeks of doing exercises is an adequate amount of time to gauge if there's something else going on and we need some imaging.
That's really helpful. You mentioned blading. I think I know what that is. I did not get that, but I think I saw these they were very shiny objects made of metal, and they were quite thin with not like a sharp, not like a knife, and they were kind of running that over their legs. Is that is that a newer modality, or is that something that's been around? What is blading?
It's been around for a bit, and I'd say it's gained popularity in the past 5 or 6 years. It's technically known as instrument-assisted soft tissue mobilization, and there are definitely a few different types of tools available. Mine are less sharp and more rugged looking, and I bust them out, and people are like, "Ugh." I'm like, "No, it's okay. We're just going to do this. We're just going to massage your hamstring. But it can be incredibly helpful. The stretching is great. The issue with stretching is that with, say, for example, just a hamstring, if you have a hamstring strain, the most mobile segment of your hamstring is going to be where the strain occurred. So if you're just incessantly stretching the hamstring over and over, you're pulling at that weak spot, but not getting the rest of it. So that's where tools like the foam roll or the instrument-assisted soft tissue mobilization, aka blading, can come in handy, because you can work on the rest of the leg and just improving the mobility of the hamstring throughout the whole length.
What about, I've been seeing this also, I don't know if it's new or something that's been around for a while, or if it's something you do or think works, but cupping?
I don't do cupping, primarily because nobody to date has given me a coherent explanation of how it works. I'm sorry if I'm offending people out there. You can get it in a spa, you can get it in PT, you can get it in acupuncture. When somebody can demonstrate research that shows that it actually does something. I mean, people come in with these horrendous black and blue circles all over them.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh gosh, it hurts so much." I'm like, "Well, what's it supposed to do?" They're like, "I don't know, move the soft tissues, increase blood flow." I'm like, "All right, okay, like enough of that. Get on the table." So I do not do. What do you have? You've had it done? Do you?
No, I've
like it?
seen it though. I've
Oh,
seen people with the
okay.
big red welts all over, kind of
I've done it.
coupling those twos.
I've mostly ended up bruised, but I would take a nap when I went to the cupping. So that was kind of
Perfect.
the best part of it. And I think I benefited more from the 30-minute nap or 45-minute nap with like the soft ocean waves in the background. Because that was when I was doing those crazy drives, Sarah, and I was like wearing like the back brace and support. Why I didn't just go to PT, I do not know. But I tried like acupuncture, I was doing cupping. And then finally, what did change everything is I just started doing more core and lower back strengthening. Ta-da.
Good.
Yeah. I did kind of like all of the things that seemed a little bit easier. And then finally I had to do the harder things. And that's actually what worked.
It's a journey, and not everything works the same way for different people.
And that's interesting because I do think physical therapists, it's a relationship. You have to find somebody that you vibe with, that you can communicate with. How do you feel about that, Kathleen?
I think there's absolutely a fit component, and whomever you see doesn't have to be the number one physical therapist in the country. There are plenty of physical therapists who are perfectly good, but yes, the relationship is huge. And clashing personalities can interfere with the therapeutic relationship. And I have had people where I've had to say, I think you're better off seeing your old physical therapist or your chiropractor, because I can see that we've, I'm not helping you and I'm wasting your time.
Sometimes you have to break up.
Yes, that's exactly right. It's a breakup.
How do you recommend we would go about finding a physical therapist that's the right fit for us?
You could start with your doctor and see if they have a list. And if you have friends who have been to PT in an area, you could ask them. You can go on the website, see what services they offer, see if they do the activities that you do, if there are any skiers or runners or bikers who are also physical therapists, and just give them a try. I think you would know in one or two visits if it's the right fit or not.
And do most take insurance, or does it really vary?
Most still do take insurance. I took insurance for 11 years and then I stopped a year and a half ago, only because I'm a sole practitioner and it was just getting way too complicated. In this day and age, you ideally need a team of billing specialists. So I charge what I think is a reasonable rate. Sometimes people come in for just half an hour. I cut the rate in half, and it all seems to be working out. I hated to do it, and I definitely lost the diversity of the practice that I had before, which is too bad. But yeah, I'm always looking at the payment process and seeing how I can improve it going forward.
And Kathleen, a couple last things before we kind of jump into the Stowe lifestyle portion of what we want to chat with you about. Are there any tools that you think we should be keeping? You mentioned a foam roller. Anything else that we should be keeping at home? We can't expect our moms to have to build out a personal gym, but what are some of the basics that we should have on hand?
In a perfect world, I would say just a squat rack in a corner and an Olympic bar would be a useful thing to have. But if that doesn't work for you, I would say a foam roll, an adjustable set of weights of dumbbells. You can buy them on Amazon. And a good stability ball is useful for stretching and mobility too.
Okay, now the even more fun part of this portion. We know you're based in Stowe, and those of us in the Mad River Valley, are always a little sad and jealous of all the amenities that you fancy people in Stowe have. Tell us about like some of your favorite places. Let's kind of start in the village that you would recommend, like we've got to go to when we're visiting Stowe.
So as far as food goes, I grew up in New Haven, and then I lived in Washington, in the Washington, D.C. area. So it's hard to find good multicultural food. And I love the Raja Indian food stand. I guess it's a restaurant, but I think it might seat 2 people. It's to the right of the community church, and it's just buried in the basement of this building. And it's amazing. So there's that. And then in Waterbury Center, there's Thai Smile, which it's also a little hole in the wall. It has no ambiance whatsoever as far as seating and dining in, but great takeout. Those would be my top 2 places for good ethnic food. If you want a dining experience, I think the Cliff House at the top of the gondola in Stowe and on Mount Mansfield is a really special place. And Harrison's in town is just you can get a great meal there. And it's relaxed and cozy.
Yeah, so the Cliff House is at Stowe, so you have to take the gondola up to that. And I think you have to have a reservation.
I think you do have to have a reservation.
But it is pretty special. So do you consider Stowe your home mountain?
I do, yeah. So there are actually 2 mountains. There's Mount Mansfield and then there's Spruce Peak. But it's considered Stowe Mountain Resort.
Yeah, and what is that thing called? The cabriolet connects the 2 of them? There's like little...
Oh, the
over easy.
Easy over or over easy. Whatever I say, I always get it backwards.
Yeah, so those staying at Spruce Peak they have access right to the Spruce Peak lifts, and if they want to go to the gondola, they have to take this little mini gondola.
Oh yeah, it's 5 minutes or less.
And then if you're in the parking lot and you want to get over to Spruce Peak to have lunch or do any of the things over there, yeah. And it is free, the fun fact. So if you wanted to have a gondola experience with your family and not have to get a Stowe lift pass, you could just ride the over easy a couple times and get
Absolutely.
some views.
I used to do that with my younger 2 when they were toddlers. Would just ride the over easy gondola just back and forth, and people would jump on and be like, "Hi,
that's so
join
cute.
us."
Yes, I love that. At Skiing Stowe, and since you're local, I'm guessing you don't brave the weekends very much. You're more of a weekday skier.
Weekday, and are you 2 familiar with uphilling? Do you do any uphilling? Yeah. So I will go up during the week or on the weekend early in the morning and then ski down. My husband and I will go after 2 p.m. on Sundays when everybody's heading out, and the snow might be a little chewed up, but they say, no bad snow, just bad skiers. So we make the best of it.
And a little fun fact, if there's ever a major sporting event, specifically at Stowe, because they get so many, if there's a Boston sporting event on a Saturday or Sunday, trails are wide open at Stowe. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point.
The world is your oyster. The Patriots are playing. You've got a really wide open slope to enjoy. So that's a little tip there. You mentioned the Cliff House. Is there anything else like in that Spruce Peak area that you love to do or you would recommend?
The spa's really nice if it's a cold day to go in there and warm up. They've got some nice services. They've got a beautiful pool.
And Sarah, didn't you do like a day pass once at Spruce Peak?
To the spa, yeah. You do like a certain treatment price. You get access the whole day. And they have a great gym, actually, as well. With classes.
Do have a great gym.
I think I did a yoga class and made a whole day of it. It was really fun. And the restaurant there is nice as well. yeah, it's a really fun place to just like make a little day trip as well.
And for people who are coming in with young kids, our weather, as we like to say, is very dynamic in Vermont, as we all know. So
Yes.
if it's too cold, too windy, what are some of your tips for people who are visiting at Stowe that they could do in lieu of a ski day?
So there is the swimming hole, gym, and pool in town, and they've got a cute little water park with a slide, and the little kids love that. There's actually a bowling alley in Stowe. There's also a rock climbing wall at Spruce Peak, and also at Trap, there are always fun things to do, indoors and outdoors. You could stay at Trap for a week and never leave the premises and have a great time.
And that's a really good point. On those super cold days, Nordic skiing can be a great option. Number one, you're internally building up some heat. And so many of the trails at Traps are in the woods. So a lot of the wind is cut down. So on those really cold days, that's a really good recommendation. And they have beautiful places for lunch there as well. There's that little cafe, and then there's like more formal options as well, but great idea.
Yes. And then there's the cabin up at the top of the resort. And that's a fun ski up there. They have amazing food up there. So for anyone who doesn't mind schlepping uphill for a bit, that could be a fun expedition.
And we're going to kind of go back to your career for a second. Do you think that this career is growing? I mean, I can't imagine, how is AI, there's nobody's going to be able to AI physical therapy. Do you feel like it is one of those careers that it's going to be growing as all these boomers are falling apart, and then next the Gen Xers are going to be falling apart? I mean, I just see this is like your career safety seems to be intact, Kathleen.
Well, thank you. I hope so. I think AI will help physical therapy rather than replace it. There's a lot of doctor Googling that goes on, and people diagnose themselves, but ultimately they end up in here because it's not working out for them. So I do think with the aging population, there are growth opportunities. The issue is just, and not to go completely boring, just the insurance system, I think, is driving people out of healthcare. I think COVID did a number on healthcare, and now the payment system is also unappealing to a lot of new grads from college.
Where is the best way that people can find you? And also, I saw a treasure trove of YouTube videos on your website. Is that something that people can use as a resource as well?
Sure. They can access it through the website, which is www.pointsnorthphysicaltherapy.com, or they can just email me directly at Kathleen@pointsnorthphysicaltherapy.com.
We've covered so much, but our favorite question to ask at the end is always about, you've had this wonderful day of skiing, either at Mount Mansfield or Spruce Peak. It's the end of the day. And how do you like to spend your après ski time?
For me, it's usually rush home and cook dinner. But in a perfect world, I would go to the Après Cocktail Lounge, which is just past the corner of Mountain Road and Loose Hill Road. And they have these amazing hot cocktails. Oh my gosh, they're so good. You can do them with or without alcohol. I have a husband who's been in recovery from alcoholism for 15 years. So usually I opt for the non-alcoholic version. But yeah, the hot cocktail and a tray of chicken nachos over there is incredible.
That sounds delicious. I don't think we've made it there yet, Nicole. And I feel like a few people have mentioned that. So that'll be on our list for this year.
Nachos.
Chicken nachos and hot cocktails. Sound
what's
amazing.
Not to like, right?
Yeah.
And if you're interested in music, frequently there's a good local band playing at Stowe Cider or at Rimrocks.
Kathleen, thank you so much. This was a really fascinating and helpful conversation. We hope we're going to get more moms to not do what I did and, try to Google away the things that are causing you pain. It can be really a really rewarding relationship, and certainly worth the investment in your health, because we're all worth it.
We are all worth it. Absolutely. And thank you so much. I really enjoyed talking to you both. And I hope that if you're in Stowe, you'll look me up. We should all meet at Opry.
Hey, ski moms, we hope you enjoyed today's episode and got some great tips for your next family ski adventure. If you had as much fun listening as we did making this episode, we'd love for you to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on our latest episodes. And don't forget to rate and review us. Your feedback helps us bring you more of the content you love and helps other ski moms find our podcast. Plus, we love hearing from you. So whether you're on the slopes or just dreaming of your next snowy getaway, stay connected with us. Follow us on social media, share your favorite episodes with your friends, and let's keep this awesome community growing.
Meet your new favorite travel companion, the Weekend Warrior 2.0 ski boot bag from Diamond. This isn't just a ski boot bag. It's an all-in-one travel bag and boot bag, now upgraded in 4 fresh colors: Dune Gold, Twilight Blue, Vermont Green, and Classic Diamond Black. Available in 2 sizes, the Weekend Warrior 2.0 is designed for real ski life. It's water-resistant with a ventilated boot compartment, padded laptop sleeve, and a helmet canopy that clips right on top. TSA approved as a carry-on, and even sized to fit as a personal item. You can breeze through airports without breaking stride. Durable, weatherproof, and smartly organized, it's built for every winter adventure. Ski Mom listeners can get 10% off with code SKIMOMS at checkout. Find your Weekend Warrior at diamantgear.com. That's DIAMANTGEAR.com.